Hello, this is Rob Mazak, and I'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the Life by Mazak podcast channel. Here on this channel, anything is possible. Any subject will and usually is discussed, and there's no telling how this message will unfold as we work through an idea, through an experience, or through a thought. These subjects come from the vast amount of information and experience through spirit, through life lessons, and from working with a lot of other people. Scripts are never used on this channel, and the message simply unfolds as the subject is discussed. Follow along and see where it leads us, or more specifically, where it leads me. These podcasts are produced in the hopes of helping others to benefit, to grow, and to excel in their own human experience. At Life by Mazak, we work towards helping you achieve wellness for your mind, your body, and your soul using many specialized services. Services that include psychic medium and tarot readings, quantum healing hypnosis, past life regression, intuitive Reiki healing, life coaching, and many other services. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button and share this with others. Our goal is to reach as many people as we can with the knowledge that is shared on this podcast channel. If humans evolved from apes, then why are there still apes? Hello, everybody. I just wanted to throw that out as a teaser for kind of where I'd like to go with this podcast. Now, when you think about that at face value, when you look at Darwin's theory of evolution, at least as he proposed it, where single cell organisms, eventually evolved and morphed and adapted over time into something completely different, into humans or other animals or fish or anything like that, then that particular question makes no logical sense whatsoever. If you look at the scientific explanation for that question, there seems to be a logical explanation as a scientist would put forth. And I see the same thing all over the internet, almost the same story word for word across everything I could see. So it may just be one story or one article, I guess, or one bit of scientific evidence, if you will. But I think it's a lot harder these days. Well, I know it's a lot harder these days to really understand what is going on in the world. What if everything that we are being told, or everything that's being broadcast across our technology, is completely artificial or false or an outright lie? Now, how would we know if it wasn't? When you go and look at any type of information, you research just about anything that you like. Type it in the internet, search it out on AI or however you like to do it. You will find so many different versions of scientific research or data that's supposed to support a certain theory. And it's almost endless, the amount of things that people are claiming as evidence for the same question or the same data set or any of that. It really makes you begin to realize that everybody simply has their own opinion. Everybody simply has their own beliefs. We'll kind of circle into that here shortly. But is the other question that those that control the media and control the information that is being put out, is that being done on purpose to keep everybody off kilter, to keep everybody from finding a hard truth or finding the absolute truth, or finding an actual purpose in life? And we get so distracted by all of these things that are going on. I remember watching movies like Minority Report long ago. I don't even remember when it came out. But the far out things that that movie portrayed are things that are happening now. And you wonder where these things are born from. So if these things are basically hidden in plain sight for us, if those powers that be in this world, whatever that is, or whoever those people are, then I believe that they are designing our world for us. I guess that's the best way to say that. I think our world is being designed and played out for us, and we are being pushed into a direction that someone or some people or entities or whatever want us to go in. They want us to go in certain directions. They want us to be confused. They want us to be unfocused. They want us to be distracted, because there's so much that could be learned and gained from this human experience that I believe we are missing. I would say I know we are missing, because it is so easy to get distracted and go down a rabbit hole, and the next thing you know, you have no idea what to believe. If you simply, well, maybe not simply, but if you start researching what this world we live in, this place we call home, actually is, you begin to go through, say, looking at flat earth, and you go through looking at the round or the globe model, and then you go into looking at the matrix or the simulated universe, the simulated reality, artificial reality. You know, when you research that, any one of those things, they all actually make sense. And so where do you find yourself? If you researched all of those, which I have, you'll find yourself in a belief system of that particular model or that belief as you research it. Everything you see, everything your mind goes out to bring into your life will support this belief that it thinks it's beginning to form. And so if you find yourself believing all of those reality explanations, then it takes you even farther from the truth, or maybe even closer to the truth if you think about it, that what we are being told, what we're being fed, what we're being shown is simply manufactured to push us into a certain direction, to cause certain emotions, to cause different aspects of our life to be different. And it's like somebody is pulling the strings of our life, pushing us as a society into a direction that is determined by somebody else. I mean, I don't know about you, but all you got to do is look around the world today, and we just move from one distraction to the next, and we then tend to forget about some of those things that we thought were important to look into and disbelieve and prove that they were some out of this world coincident or not coincidence, that here are planned events. I mean, let's look at 9/11, right? I mean, that was way over 20 years ago. I think it's pretty well been shown that there's some monkey business going on with that, and that it was probably a planned event. By whom? Who knows for sure? Because I don't know if the truth will ever come out. That's just one example. I mean, you could go on and on with many of these things, but the thing is that once that is kind of passed and phased out, then the next thing comes in, and the next distraction comes in. And before you know it, we just haven't had the energy or the focus to even look back at these things that we once thought were untruths. Not that they are, but things that seem untrue and seem unlikely to happen like they were portrayed. Look at what's going on now, right? We have these crazy winter storms. We've had these crazy weather events across the United States. across the world, as a matter of fact. But I'm talking about the United States because I deal with those types of things in my line of business. And in this great state of Texas, you can have all of those things, all of those major weather events happening in the same state, sort of like a small country, right? Now we got all these, we just got done with this crazy winter weather, and then now we got all these fires going on across the state. It's like they never let us rest, or we never get to rest. I'm kind of portraying or insinuating that someone is creating these things, or something is creating these things for us to have to deal with. And it's just like one thing to the next, nonstop. We can't even catch our breath, it seems. And I don't know about you, but it is hard to live a purposeful life if you really latch on to all of these things that are happening in the world and hang on them and get worried about them, get angry about them, mad at the president or mad about the world affairs or what is going on across the planet. And I'm not saying we should not be concerned about people and their welfare and what's happening to others because of these events, rather. But the thing is, if you get yourself engaged into everything that is going on a daily basis, on the TV, on TikTok, on any social media for that matter, you will find yourself completely lost in this life. And it is hard enough these days with the markets and all the things that are happening to be focused and to really pay attention to your journey and pick a journey and a target and set goals and actually do any meaningful things in life, because we're kind of stuck in this survival mode, right? We're surviving, having to work and sometimes barely being able to keep up with the bills and all the taxes and all the monies that are being pulled from us and targeted to make us have to work more, longer hours just to, keep a house and a car and food. And I tell you what, at least when I break down the budget of my household, and it's only 3 of us, right? I mean, it is just incredible the amount of things that we need to pay for to, quote unquote, have a life. And it is just immense. And then filing taxes, I mean, it was like we have to pay some ungodly amounts of tax to our government. Not as much as other countries per se, at least on the surface. Every government will get the money that they want to have. I mean, if you look at taxes, at least in the United States, everything is taxed. We get taxed on our paycheck, all kinds of things, Social Security, FICA, I don't even know what FICA is, all these different taxes that come out of our check. So we get taxed on our money before we use our money to buy things that are further taxed. This is just, we could go down a rabbit hole on this, but I think you get the point. I believe the real topic of this particular podcast is that I believe that those that rule us are purposely trying to keep us in, let's say, dire straits, and to keep us dependent on the system, to keep us dependent on the things that we get from the government. I appreciate all that I do get. I'm a veteran. I'm really gracious for that. And I'm not knocking that at all. What I'm saying is that in order to be successful these days, it seems like you either got to be in the poverty or under the poverty line or extremely rich. The middle class seems to be being squeezed out. It seems like we're farther stretching the differentiation between, or the gap between, the poor and the super rich. don't get me wrong, to be poor or to be rich is really, it really does come down to our determination and our thought patterns and our desires and our attitude and our work ethic and all that. I'm not saying that everyone can't be rich. It is difficult sometimes to get into a wealth or abundance mindset when you are living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes not even making it between paychecks. And there are ways out of that, of course, yes. But back to the original kind of idea, what if everything we are being shown, everything we are being introduced to, everything we learn in school, everything that's being taught to us, from history to religion to science to space to any of that, what if none of that is actuality or reality? What if most of that is just indoctrinated into our minds to develop a belief system to keep us in a low vibrational state where it is difficult to vibrate at a higher rate and really begin to unlock ourselves and connect with spirit and connect with that which is outside of us? I'm not sure why the powers that be would do that, but my intuition and my guess, and most people's that I know, would say is that they don't want human beings to develop into what we are capable of being. If you're ruling a planet of billions of people or a world of billions of people, whatever this place is, you do not want people to evolve and become smarter than you as a ruler. You don't want people to be able to come together and realize that maybe they've been fed the wrong stuff. Maybe we've been living a lie. I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying maybe that's the case, right? Just remember what I'm talking about here is just kind of my thoughts. I'm rambling, not rambling, but consciously streaming some of these things and just kind of laying out my thoughts. I'm having a little trouble kind of keeping it in sequence, but I think you kind of understand where I'm going, is that we have to take control of our life and our minds, because our minds are what, quote unquote, they are after. Anybody that rules or is a ruler of this population or the populations of this world, once again, whoever that is, I like to say they. And when people say, who are they? I'm like, well, that's the real question, isn't it? It may be being ruled from outside of what we know as reality. It may be simply world leaders being who they are. I'm not sure. I can never really pinpoint that and give you a solid answer on that. And I'm sure most people would probably say that they could not either. They probably have ideas in their mind. But the thing is, if the real battleground is our mind and controlling our mind and controlling how we think, controlling how we feel, controlling how we act, then if we give that power to them or we allow that power to be handed over to them, sometimes without knowing it, and sometimes we reach a point like we do now where it's almost to the point of no choice or the inability to stop them from doing it. However, we are very powerful beings, and we do have some free will, even if it feels like it's not a winning battle, something that we can't win, but we can win it. We can win the battle. We can take charge of our own mind. We can create a life that we would like to have. It just takes consistency and persistency, because we are the trainers of our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what really runs our life. It is what's been programmed through all the things I'm talking about, through life experiences, the way we were raised, the cultures, all these things are wound up in this recording below the level of our consciousness, whether that's subconscious or unconscious, but the parts of our mind that we don't have necessarily conscious connection to, I guess you'd say. It's there. It's just that we can't just randomly reach in and grab everything out of there and rewind it and change it and reprogram it. It can be done, but it does take time. It's generally not something that instantaneously happens. I mean, sometimes with near-death experiences, those things become unlocked. Our minds become unlocked, and all of a sudden we have these massively interesting gifts that just show up out of nowhere from tragedy, like Edgar Casey, the great American prophet. I think he got hit on the head with a baseball, and all of a sudden, boom, he had these crazy gifts and psychic abilities. But outside of actually some crazy and tumultuous accident or something like that, we can purposely point ourselves in a direction and get the outcome we want in life as long as we stay the course. So first of all, one of the main problems we have as human beings is we really don't know what we want. Almost everybody I do this to and for and ask this question to rarely knows what the answer is. If I say I'm going to give you a card, this is a credit card from God. And with this credit card, anything that you have ever dreamed of having, you can have. There's no such thing as failure. You can have anything you want. What would your life look like? Most people cannot answer that question. And even those that do answer that question and have an idea, they don't really have enough detail to the plan. It's such a broad idea. How can you get there with such a general direction? As human beings, it's easy to get kind of lost in all of the drama and the trauma and the crazy world affairs, and we forget that those things are what's driving us in a direction, and those are driving for us. We must take control of the wheel. We must take control of the car, the vehicle we call our body, our mind, our life, and put something down on paper, put something down on a vision board, something. Come up with a direction, even if it's not the direction. Come up with some direction that you can go into and go towards, and really put the consistent time into achieving that. Then it can be done. The other problem we have, and I have it too, is we tend to change our course, our mind, very often. It's not that we can't get what we want. It's just that we keep changing our mind. It's like your child coming up and asking you for something different every 10 minutes. And finally, you would probably look at that child and go, what is it you really want? Make up your mind. Well, if you were the universe or God or guides or those that are listening to your requests, your goals and your visions for your life, and you keep telling them something different every day or very often, do you think that they will know what to really do for you? Of course, they do know what to do for you, I guess, but point being, using the example of the child and the parent, until you make up your mind, until you decide what you want, it's really difficult to get the solid help from the quote-unquote other side. They need to know where your motivation and your faith is. Even depicted in the Bible when Jesus was doing healing, I don't remember any stories, I'm not saying they're not there, but I don't remember any stories of Jesus just walking up to somebody and healing them. It seemed like he always asked them, what is it you're seeking? In my opinion, I feel like he wanted to see where their faith was, to see what it is, what they really wanted. Just because they were blind, perhaps. Maybe they didn't want to be healed from blindness. Maybe they were hungry. Maybe they wanted something different. Maybe their life path was supposed to take them somewhere else and they didn't really care about that. When you're seeking help, to help yourself, or you're seeking help from an external source, as we see that or view that, most of us do feel like we're praying or reaching out or putting out intentions or affirmations. Let's be very specific. Let's be intentional. Let's be purposeful. And let's stay the course. And that sounds easy. It is not easy. I think the longest that I have held a direction and a thought to create the outcome that I got, very specifically, was about 3 months of really staying the course and getting the outcome that I wanted. And it works. It does work. I can give you lots and lots of examples, but we're not here to talk about me so much. The idea is that if you really, really pin down what you want, even if it's a short-term goal, maybe it's a specific car you would like to have, maybe it's to pay off your house, maybe it's to be able to have the money to put your kids through college, maybe it's a better promotion, a different job, a particular mate, a particular anything in life. Deciding what that is down to the fine details and staying with that desire and never letting it go until you have it is really the secret. I mean, you can literally have anything you want, but deciding what you want and sticking with what you want and doing something about it is absolutely necessary, right? Let's not get lost in the world. Let's not get lost in the news. Let's not go down the rabbit holes of stories and follow all these things, Epstein files and crazy things that are going on in our presidency or world affairs or markets or tariffs or any of these things that are going on in the world. Let's put a little blind eye to those for a while and let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on us. The other thing you got to remember is that you are number one as far as the universe is concerned. In order to help others and to change your situation or change other people's situations, the change must start with you. You have to be the change for the environment that you want to affect. You cannot try to change others or try to change people or family members or friends or any of that to create a different environment that you would like. You have to change yourself. The only person you have actual control of is yourself. And if you don't control yourself, you will be very, very subject to all of these things, all of this programming that is coming your way every second of the day, all the time, streaming, phones, TV, social media, friends, you name it. It's coming at you in a big firestorm. And if you don't take control and move forward with what you want, you will drown in this world of craziness, I guess. Be who you want to be and do it now, because there's no better time than now. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is now. When you get a chance, pop over to my website when you get a chance, lifebymazak.com, lifebymazak.com. Take a look at what I have there. I mean, everything about me is there that you would like to know if you'd like to know. But really, I like to help people. I really, really love to work with people. I love to help people. When you come to work with me, I also learn. We all learn together. My experience and the things I have now in my toolbox, so to speak, I've learned through working with people and I've learned from people. And so the more we help people, the more we can help ourselves and the more we can help additional people. So I look forward to working with you. I look forward to hearing from you. Stay strong and live your life.